This is the first time in weeks that it has completely chucked it down. Thunder and lightning. Usually I love it because I really wanted to go out for a little run. I'm not all for this, not at all. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're well. It is chucking it down outside, so as you can tell, I'm extremely comfortable. I thought I'd whack in some earrings to kind of try and look a bit presentable in this video. If you hear a huge thunder boom, it literally happened like 5 minutes ago, so I don't know if it's gone or if it's just gonna shake the room out of nowhere. Now, just quickly before I dive on in, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out this video. And if you are a fan of the content I'm putting out twice weekly, then please subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me getting to know you guys that are dealing with the same thing I've been dealing with for 15 years. It changed my life the moment I started to openly discuss my dermatillomania, and I hope that this content helps you to perhaps do the same. Anyway, much love. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get to it. So today I wanted to talk about a really common misconception. This topic in particular, I think, is really important that we talk about it because there are a lot of us that feel reluctant to talk to our loved ones, whether it is a close friend or family member, about our compulsive skin picking, mainly because we are afraid and believing that what we're doing with our compulsive skin picking may actually be a form of self-harm. And a lot of the time when we go to a close friend or family member to discuss our dermatillomania, they can react on the basis that it is a form of self-harm. And you know, I have spoken to some who have talked to maybe like a parent, and the parent has told them to go to the doctors with fears that their child is self-harming. Dermatillomania is not a form of self-harm, in my opinion, and in this video I want to kind of talk about why I believe this is the case. When it comes to dermatillomania, the goal is accomplishment. It is based on perfectionism. It's based on the fact of really needing to fix our skin. When it comes to anxious thoughts, feelings, being overwhelmed, it's quite often the case that we take it out on our skin or our overall appearance. We start looking inwards. So we're looking at our skin and we're searching for something to fixate on in a bid to get rid of it. So the overall goal is accomplishment of doing that. As soon as we find, say, a blemish, we're going to put all of our emphasis into getting rid of that blemish, and accomplishing that is the desired end result, right? So with that, we get a lot of comfort when we have accomplished that. Obviously, the real end result is that we're left with a mark that's probably more visible than it ever was before when the blemish was there, or the scab, what have you. In our minds, we think that what we're doing is helping ourselves, helping our overall appearance. And so as soon as we see something that we need to fix, get rid of in order to have clear, smooth skin, perfect skin, we will do whatever we can to accomplish that. That is the goal when it comes to compulsive skin picking, is accomplishing. When it comes to self-harming, the goal is to feel the pain or hurt that's been inflicted. It is not to look a certain way, it is literally to feel a physical pain or hurt from, say, cutting yourself, for example. When that person feels the pain, the physical symptoms of, say, cutting your skin, it for a moment makes them feel better. They're in, say, a daze. And that's why this misconception is really common, because a lot of people see the fact that we are overly focusing on our skin, and the days that we kind of go in when we look to fixing our skin, how it makes us feel very short-term positive result of accomplishing what we're wanting to do. A lot of people can see that and misunderstand that for being self-harm, because obviously those that self-harm, they feel a short-term relief the same way that we do. It never lasts long, and that's why a lot of people will go back to self-harming quite regularly, the same way that those with dermatillomania will assess their skin regularly. So in my opinion, I do not think that dermatillomania, compulsive skin picking disorder, is a form of self-harm, because we are looking to perfect our skin. The goal is accomplishment in that interest. When it comes to self-harm, the goal is to feel physical pain and hurt that's being inflicted. Two very, very different things. But because of that misconception that very commonly occurs with those that we discuss it with, it's really important that we understand within ourselves that this is not a form of self-harm, so that we can have a say in how we want to go about it. A lot of the time, if we don't know enough of what we're doing and we talk to someone who has absolutely no idea, it's very easy for our loved ones to react out of emotion. There's a lot of fear that goes in if they don't know what's going on. All they know is that their loved one is having a really challenging time. Because it's appearance related, because it affects, you know, your skin, and you go back to it time and time again, and because it gives you a relief of some sort and a release of some sort, it is really common that our loved ones see it as self-harm, and they will obviously then take action, help us take action on the basis that it is self-harm. Now, if it isn't self-harm, which in my opinion it is not, then it means that we are going at it with a different angle. So it's really important that we kind of understand, at least within ourselves, if we do talk to a loved one, that we can feel confident in explaining that this is actually not a form of self-harm. We don't do it to inflict pain or hurt. We don't focus on that aspect at all. We focus on accomplishing our goal, and the goal is obviously perfect skin, looking clear, looking smooth. It's kind of opening a whole new can of worms, really. We aren't going at it with a, you know, self-harm, I wish to inflict a hell of a lot of damage on myself. That unfortunately just happens when we are in the mindset of, I must get rid of this, this has to go, I must do this to look this way. So I really hope this video helps. I hope it makes sense. This was something that was really difficult for me to get my head around. It stopped me from talking to my loved ones about my dermatillomania based on the fact that I assumed that they would see it as self-harm, and for a long time I thought it was self-harm too, so I didn't really know how to go about it, you know, that whole conversation and those questions. But by understanding it a bit more now, it helps you to feel a bit more confident if you haven't had that conversation already but are kind of hoping to take the steps towards having that conversation, which I definitely urge you to do. It doesn't have to be a family member, doesn't have to be a parent, and doesn't even have to be your best friend or whatever. You know, there's so many ways that you can speak to a qualified professional, counsellor, therapist, who will more than happily help you gain a better understanding of what you're doing. And just as a quick FYI, based on personal experience, I really benefited from using BetterHelp, which is an online counselling platform. It's not free, unfortunately. What they do is they ask you a number of questions so they can fit you with the right counsellor, obviously depending on your personal preferences. Some people want to talk to a female, some people want to talk to a male, some people want to talk to someone within their own religion, things like that. Different orientations to suit them, they obviously, all counsellors are trained in specific fields, so it really is beneficial. The best thing about it as well is that it is completely online. You can schedule chats, phone calls, the kind of text messages, or even just like written form if that works best for you. Because also, like, there's a lot of us that feel a bit too intimidated with the idea of sitting and, you know, taking the time out of work, which is difficult as it is, and traveling somewhere to sit in a room for a certain amount of time talking to someone who you don't even know. It's so much easier to talk to someone in the comfort of your own home, where you feel safe and able to feel more open. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. And just as an FYI, I am not getting sponsored or anything like that recommending them. It is based on my own experience, because I know it really helped me and it can help you too. I really hope this helps, and if you haven't already, please click that like button. And as always, if you have any questions or any comments on this, please drop them in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you again in 3 days. Bye bye.